Hey, what's up, folks? You know we're here at Mysteries of the Mind to rip through the surface and kick the door down to the soul, right? Well, today's topic is male intimacy, but listen up. Forget that Playboy view that just reduces a man to an engine running on instinct alone. There's a whole ocean under that shell, my dude, and most people are just floating by the shore. Right there, in that moment when the lights go out, there's an undercurrent pulling towards something 1,000 times bigger than just touch. We're going to stick our noses into Jung's scribbles to figure out what a man's unconscious is screaming when he lets go. It's the blind spot no one talks about. But hey, here's the tip. So you don't miss the next key turning on this journey, smash that like button and subscribe right here to the channel. Come dig up these submerged treasures of the mind with us. What's the deal, seriously? Since birth, a man is conditioned to be a brushed steel fortress. Gotta know it all, gotta endure it all, gotta win. Society lays down the law and says you can't crack or shed a single tear or you're worthless. The result is a heavy armor you carry around like a tractor your whole life. But the irony is that armor is built to protect the castle from the outside, but it slowly strangles the king on the inside. Intimacy is the one spot where that iron plate starts to melt slowly, like ice in the sun. There, in the heat of surrender, a man can finally drop his shield and breathe without fear of judgment. What he's really after isn't performance, nah. It's the chance to be seen, and not just being seen by the crowd, superficially. It's being seen to the bone at the core with the wounds that won't close, the tiny fears he swallows every day, the insecurities he locks away. It's the thirst to take off the I know everything mask and just be human, vulnerable, and be accepted just like that, no edits. That moment isn't just the meeting of bodies. It's the soul's encounter with the chance to unbutton the shirt and show the heart that pulses and trembles. It's the portal to the soul that only opens for those brave enough to cross their own fear of being who they are. Crazy, right? We spend our whole lives communicating with words, but Jung was already clued in that the unconscious doesn't speak English, nah. It expresses itself in symbols, in images, in gestures that we don't even catch. And our intimate life is the stage for this pantomime. Every shiver, every block, every strange desire, all of it is the tip of an iceberg deep down in our water. Intimacy becomes a polished silver mirror that reflects our inner world without censorship. That way you touch, what you avoid, what makes you catch fire, it's all pure symbolism. A tight hug might be the echo of a childhood need that was never satisfied. A sudden silence can hold a pain that's 20 years old. Most people live this moment like it's just a nerve spasm, but trust me, it's the unconscious knocking on the door and calling for help. It's the reflection of old beliefs, of the scars you took to bed without even realizing. And Jung drops the bomb. What we insist on leaving in the shadows, in the dark, is going to show up in our relationship with the other person, and it shows up full force in the bedroom. The way we dance in intimacy is the faithful portrait of how we're dealing with our own soul. If it's tight in there, it's because everything in here is tangled up like a ball of yarn. We've arrived at the hairiest part of this story. What's the deal with a man looking for pleasure in the act of giving pleasure? We usually see that as pure generosity, right? The guy bends over backward, does the whole choreography to watch the other person float. But what's under that rug of donated pleasure? There's a subtle craving to be the hero, to be indispensable, to receive the crown of the intimacy king. Jung hands us the key to this mystery. He says a man has a feminine dimension inside, the so-called anima. That part is sensitivity, intuition, the side that knows how to care and connect without control. When a man delights in giving pleasure, he's unintentionally groping for that part of himself that society told him to bury. It's as if he's caressing himself indirectly by touching the soul of the other. But this dance can have two rhythms, you dig. One is the love that overflows, the genuine desire to connect. The other is the ego that's starving to death. The thirst to give pleasure can be the reflection of an even greater thirst. The thirst to be approved, to not be replaced, to prove to himself that he is enough. It's neediness dressed up as genuine affection. We have to have the courage to ask the soul-cutting question, what's moving me right now? Is it the love that pulses or the fear hiding behind a nice gesture? Because only what comes from a clean place turns into a ritual of intimacy. The rest is just a transaction of bodies with an expiration date. And that's where things get really complicated. The anima, the feminine soul inside the man, was crushed by the culture of men must be tough. He was taught to run from emotion, to swallow his tears, to pretend that the hole inside doesn't exist. What happens is that piece of himself vanishes, but the search for it continues, only it's projected onto the world. In intimacy, this explodes. The man tries to embrace his anima in the woman or the partner. He idealizes, puts the person on an absurd pedestal, expecting her to be everything: lover, mother, healer, confidant, the well that never runs dry. When he finds someone who has a touch of his anima, intuition, sensitivity, he's charmed like a kid with a new toy. It's not just attraction, it's the mirror of what he lacks. But this projection is a tightrope walk. What you're desperately looking for in the other person already lives inside you. The affection, the nurturing, the deep listening, it's all there, in the abandoned anima. If he doesn't bring this to consciousness, he'll spend his life chasing someone to plug the hole he himself dug. Frustration comes when the other person gets tired of being a god on a pedestal and turns out to be human. Then the man shuts down, pulls away, not for lack of affection, but because he felt the pain of being invisible to himself again. It's the thirst for emotional validation running on autopilot. The fear of being invisible only calms down when the man allows himself to be seen completely by himself, including the parts he always hid. Now get this, because this one's tough. That impulse to be the perfect partner, the most generous, the one who gives his body and soul. It's not always love at the wheel. Sometimes it's the ego starving for recognition, the thirst to be admired, coveted, chosen. It's the shadow of neediness wearing the cape of care. The man tries to mask the old wound, the fear of abandonment, the emptiness of not being enough, by being irreplaceable. We get tangled up and think we're doing it for the other person, but deep down, we're just trying to stitch up a tear inside our own chest. Jung had the warning: that which is not brought to the light of consciousness repeats itself as fate. In the game of intimacy, that repetition is fatal. You relive the fear of being rejected, the chill of not being desired, the trauma of being vulnerable, and you end up dumping the blame on the other person or yourself. Intimacy becomes a minefield because you're taking your shadow to dance without knowing its steps. You're not supposed to become the villain, nah. You're supposed to become the archaeologist of your own soul. You have to acknowledge the shadow, face the wound with an honesty that hurts, so it stops dictating your love story. Only when desire stops being the echo of your neediness and becomes the voice of your whole presence, that's when intimacy turns into a refuge and not a battlefield. Catch the difference. Intimacy isn't about exposing the body now. It's about exposing your history, your flaws, the emotions you can't put into words. Jung was clear: the soul doesn't come in speeches. It whispers through sensations, symbols, and experiences that touch deep. The body becomes language, silence becomes the answer, touch becomes healing. But for that to happen, the man needs to ditch the character, stop acting like the invincible one, the always ready one, the know-it-all, and start being just human, authentic, flaws and all. It's in the discomfort of that dismantling that the seed of change is born. It's there, naked in soul and body, that you realize how much you were trying to control what you felt, how much you were using your body as a fortress and not as a bridge to connect with the other. This transformation doesn't come with a magic formula, nah. It comes with presence, with the attention you give to every signal from your body and mind. It comes with the courage to look in the mirror of the soul and let the other person look too. Intimacy leaves the performance stage and turns into a space for mutual growth, where desire is no longer a cry of neediness, but the voice of your conscious and whole presence. So, did that shake your soul? If this talk made your head click and you feel something shifting inside, then it's time to act. For us to keep unraveling these mysteries of the mind and give you more tools for this journey, it's simple and direct. Leave your best like on the video. That shows me we're on the right track and helps this message find other people who need it as much as you do. And of course, don't slack off. Subscribe to the channel right now and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next insights that will help you drop the character and embrace your true self. What's your honest take on that emptiness we try to plug in intimacy? Tell me in the comments. Let's do this together.